If you do this a lot on your Coleman, tear it apart, do different things, change the belt out, lubricate your torque converter, change sprockets out in the rear of the torque converter. The biggest thing you have to do every time is you got to take the torque converter cover off. The original jack shaft cover design was, to me, a whole lot better. Instead of actually having bolts that you had to remove each time, you know, you had the just tabs that go through a slot, and then you get a hitch pin that goes through it, and it takes like 2 minutes. Not great, you know, taking a bolt out isn't that much, but I just rather have it where I pull a couple of pins and I'm ready to go. Especially if you're riding on the trail, and you know, if you don't have a 8mm wrench handy and something's going on, you know, inside your torque converter, you want to check it out. You know, I guess you're kind of stuck. So I try to like do things and make it as toolless as possible. So what I've done is I'm trying to replicate the style of the original Coleman jack shaft cover. I went out and I bought, well, first of all, here's these bolts that you got to take out, and these are M6 by 1 thread type. So I went out and I got about 3 of these. The reason I got 3 is because the bottom right one is pretty much riding on the frame, so there's no real reason to have a bolt in there anyway. So I got the M6 one 75mm. The reason I did this is because I wanted one that had a shoulder shank on it, and the reason why is since I'm going to be cutting the heads off, I want something in there to kind of give it clamping pressure, so that shoulder should hit the top of the threads inside the torque converter bracket, and that should stop it. You have to cut down the threads a little bit, and I cut the head down to about here, and the bottom one, I'm drilling holes through it for a hitch pin, and the bottom one I said, you know, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to put a hitch pin through it. So there's that one there, and I've already done this one here, and I've drilled a hole through it. Make sure you use a drill press, because these tiny little bits, I think I'm using a 5/64 drill bit to go through, and the hitch pins I'm using are, they seem to be the best ones, 3/16. So that's these little itty bitty tiny ones right here. So I know it's in a vise, so you're not going to see it fully seated. I may edit this and show another video, but anyway, when all you do is you get that corner on. Remember, that one's not going to have a pin, and then you're going to slide that one over, and actually, because that shoulder is a little bit wider, it actually hugs this pretty good. You could probably get by without actually putting the hitch pin in it, because it stays on there pretty good. I mean, it's not like this plastic just, you know, goes up, especially when it's attached down here. But I figured just go ahead and be safe with it, and then let me get that focus a little bit. Come on. And so you pretty much just do that right there. And you can actually go all the way right there. Anyway, $5 in hardware, quick and easy little fix. It does take a little bit of time to, you know, cut the head down, cut the threads down a little bit, drill the hole. Make sure you use a punch like this, so that way you can get the hole started. Otherwise, your drill bit's going to be all over the place. So there's the size that that I pretty much cut it all down to. You're looking at a total of about 7/8 maybe long, 3/8 worth of threads, and 1/2 inch of the shank. And what I do is I chuck this up, put the thread in and drill. Don't tighten it too tight, you damage or you screw up the threads a little bit, but have this tip hanging out. And I got a file here, and what I do is I take an angle and keep rotating it, and it kind of rounds out the top. It just makes it easier, you know, gets rid of the burrs on the end from cutting it off. I just use a Harbor Freight style angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, but it kind of gives it a nicer finished look. It's kind of hard to do this with only one hand, but pretty much I spin it and just keep doing this until it's nice and rounded edge. Alright, so finally got it on here, and the bottom's on there pretty good. I mean, it's actually better than it was before. I didn't even have the bottom attached at all, so this bottom was just going back and forth. I don't actually think you really need these. I went ahead and put the work into it, so might as well. But take it off, and we'll do this one-handed here. Just grab that one, throw it on the floor. Take this one, let that fly across the room. So just pull that off, wiggle that, kind of tilt it a little bit, push down the bottom, boom, off. Let's see if I can get this thing off with one hand. First part is probably hooking that bottom one. Which, got that one. Got that one, boom. And these go in pretty easy. But yeah, that's I like that a whole lot better. $5 worth of hardware, and pretty much have it set up the same way as the Coleman jack shaft style.